Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the weight you've been carrying, the sleepless nights, the prayers that seem to hit the ceiling and bounce back, the fear that whispers, "You're not enough. You've failed too many times." Do you feel it? That voice of condemnation, pressing down on your spirit, chaining your heart? I want you to hear this, as if heaven itself is speaking directly to you. The Holy Spirit is speaking to you right now. Yes, you. Not tomorrow, not in another season. Now you've been living under the shadow of guilt, under the crushing weight of not good enough. But there is a way out. There is a door that opens with obedience, with surrender, with trust. And it is right in front of you. The key, the secret you've been missing, is simple. Put the Holy Spirit first. Not your past, not your failures, not your circumstances. The Holy Spirit first. And here's the truth. If you continue without this revelation, you will keep running in circles. You will keep trying to fix yourself, trying to earn what God has already freely given. But if you embrace this now, if you choose to listen, your life will never be the same. Lean in closer, because I need you to do something prophetic right now. Type in the comments, "My obedience unlocks my miracle." Don't just type it. Don't just watch others do it. Plant a seed of faith. Speak to heaven with your own words. You are the hero of this story. The circumstances are the prison, and my words, the Spirit's words, are the key. Feel the weight begin to lift. Sense the chains start to loosen. Hear the gentle whisper of God saying, "I am with you. I will guide you. I will never leave you." This moment, this very moment, marks the beginning of your breakthrough. But this is just the first layer. The journey ahead will reveal deeper truths, greater revelations, and spiritual weapons you've never held before. And in a few minutes, you will see how obedience, the Holy Spirit, and daily faith will transform your life from condemnation into unshakable grace. So hold on, because what I'm about to show you will ignite your spirit, awaken your faith, and release a fire in your heart that can never be quenched. Type, "My obedience unlocks my miracle." Think for a moment. Imagine living in a world where everyone around you mocks, ridicules, and doubts you. Imagine being told that your vision, your calling, your faith is nonsense. This was Noah. God spoke to him. God gave him instructions that made no sense to the world. "Build an ark," he said. "Prepare for a flood that has never happened before." Can you feel it? The impossible task, the weight of doing what seems crazy to everyone else. But here is the divine truth. Obedience in crisis is your weapon. When Noah obeyed, he didn't have all the answers. He didn't understand the flood, the timing, or the cost. He simply obeyed. And in his obedience, he found favor. In his obedience, he found protection. In his obedience, God's plan unfolded. Now look at your life. What ark is God asking you to build today? Is it a bold prayer you've been too afraid to pray? Is it a step of faith in a relationship, a job, or a financial decision that feels impossible? Is it surrendering an area of your life to God that you've tried to control for too long? The enemy will whisper, "It's too hard." They will mock you. You will fail. But listen closely. The Holy Spirit is saying, obedience in the crisis is the bridge from fear to breakthrough. Noah obeyed quietly, steadily, without seeking approval. Imagine the ridicule, the laughter, the scoffing of people who couldn't see the vision God placed in him. Yet every hammer strike, every plank, every measure of obedience was a declaration. I hear the voice of God. I trust His plan. I will walk in His instructions no matter the cost. Feel the Spirit asking you today, what is your ark? What is your step of obedience that the world might laugh at, but God will honor? And here is your first spiritual weapon for this segment, a prophetic declaration. Speak it aloud. I will obey God's voice above all voices. My faith creates a way where there seems to be no way. Say it slowly. Feel it. Let it ignite a fire in your heart, but there is more. Noah's story didn't end with ridicule. It ended with salvation. His obedience saved generations. Every plank he laid, every nail he hammered, every decision he made, created a legacy of life and blessing. And your obedience today, your faith step today, is building a foundation for blessings that will ripple far beyond your imagination. But the journey doesn't stop here. The next revelation is even deeper. It will show you how obedience can be a weapon against the voice of condemnation itself. And the truth of Abraham's obedience will take this principle even further, testing your trust to a whole new level. Prepare yourself, because next we will step into a story where obedience asks everything from Abraham, but rewards him with a promise that will redefine what you believe is possible in your life. Speak aloud. I will obey God's voice above all voices. My faith creates a way where there seems to be no way. Imagine this. God asks you to surrender the most precious thing in your life, the thing you cannot imagine living without. Your heart clenches, fear rises, doubt whispers, surely there must be another way. This cannot be the will of God. This was Abraham. God said, "Take your son, your only son, Isaac, and offer him as a sacrifice." Think about it. Abraham had waited decades for this child. Isaac was the fulfillment of God's promise, and now the divine instruction seemed impossible, unthinkable, yet Abraham obeyed, slowly, step by step. Early in the morning, he loaded the donkey, carried the wood, and walked toward Mount Moriah. Every step was heavy, every moment a test of faith. And here is the revelation for you. Obedience is not always convenient, but it is always powerful. When you obey God, especially in the moments that feel unbearable, you are wielding a weapon against fear, doubt, and condemnation. Your obedience becomes a declaration, "God, I trust you even when I cannot see the outcome." Now apply this to your life. What is God asking you to surrender today? Is it a relationship that you've held on to too tightly? Is it a dream that is not aligned with His will? Is it an area of your life you've hidden in shame, afraid to release to God? The enemy will scream, "You can't survive this. Let go and you'll lose everything." But the Spirit says obedience will open doors that fear could never unlock. Abraham's faith was tested, and at the last moment God provided the ram. Salvation came through substitution. Obedience led to life. Obedience brought the promise to fulfillment. Feel this truth deep in your spirit. Your obedience today, even in fear, even when it hurts, is planting seeds of blessing, protection, and divine favor that will manifest far beyond what you can imagine. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I surrender all that I hold dear to God. My obedience brings life, favor, and breakthrough. Say it slowly. Feel it resonate in your chest. Let it pierce the lies of fear, doubt, and condemnation. And there is more, because Abraham's story is not just about surrender. It's about trust in timing, provision, and promise. The next segment will show you that even in the mundane, God's instructions are weapons of transformation. Next, we will enter the story of Naaman, where a simple act of obedience, no grandeur, no dramatic sacrifice, unlocks a miraculous healing. And it will show you how God's grace works through the simplest steps when you choose to obey. Speak aloud. I surrender all that I hold dear to God. My obedience brings life, favor, and breakthrough. Now listen closely. Not every act of obedience feels dramatic. Not every test shakes your heart like a thunderstorm. Sometimes obedience is simple, quiet, mundane, almost ordinary. This was Naaman, a mighty man, a general of armies. Yet he suffered from a disease that could not be cured by his strength, wealth, or prestige. He came seeking a miracle, and God's instructions were simple. Go, wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan River, and you will be healed. 7 times. That's it. Not a ritual. Not a complex formula. Just obedience to a simple command. And here is the truth for your life. God often uses simplicity as a weapon. Think about it. How often have you complicated God's instructions in your mind? Lord, I can't pray this way. I need to figure out a better plan. I don't have the time, the money, the perfect circumstances. Naaman's humility and obedience unlocked what his pride and power could not. He dipped once, nothing, twice, still nothing. But the 7th time, healing, complete, miraculous, life transforming. Can you feel the Spirit asking you, what is your Jordan River? Is it a daily prayer you've neglected? Is it a small act of forgiveness you've been avoiding? Is it a consistent step of faith in your finances, relationships, or work? Obedience doesn't have to be dramatic to be powerful. It just has to be faithful. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I obey the simple instructions of God. In small steps, I release miracles and life into my circumstances. Say it slowly. Let it echo in your heart. Let it remind you that God honors faithfulness even in the smallest acts, and there is a deeper revelation ahead. Because obedience is not only about actions, it's about identity. When you obey God, even in simple acts, your very identity begins to shift. You are no longer defined by fear, shame, or limitation. You are defined by trust, faith, and alignment with God's voice. Next, we will explore the story of the disciples, the calling that redefined their identity. They left their nets, their old lives, and stepped into a destiny that would change the world. And you will see, your obedience is reshaping who you are at your very core. Speak aloud. I obey the simple instructions of God. In small steps, I release miracles and life into my circumstances. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself at the edge of your old life. The familiar nets, the daily routines, the habits that have defined you for years, everything that feels safe, everything you've relied on, is about to be challenged. This is exactly where the disciples found themselves. Jesus came to Peter, Andrew, James, and John with a simple invitation. Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. No map, no plan, no guarantees, just a call. And here is the radical truth. Obedience to God's call reshapes identity. Peter left his boat. Andrew left his nets. James and John left everything familiar. They obeyed a voice that promised transformation, not comfort. And your life is calling for the same obedience. Is God asking you to leave old habits behind? Is He asking you to step into a new ministry, a new relationship, or a new vision? Is He calling you to trust Him with your time, your resources, your reputation? The enemy will whisper, stay where it's safe. Keep what you know. Don't risk it. But the Spirit says obedience is the path to your new identity. Follow me, and I will make you into who you were created to be. Feel the fire in your spirit. Obedience is not just an action, it's a declaration of who you are becoming. Every step you take in faith, every decision to follow God, even when it costs you comfort, is shaping your new self. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I obey the call of God. I release my old identity and embrace the new life He is creating in me. Say it slowly. Let it resonate through your mind, heart, and spirit. Let it break the chains of fear, insecurity, and doubt. And there is a warning to hear. Obedience carries consequences for both obedience and disobedience. Some obey and receive life and blessing. Some resist and lose favor. And this brings us to the next segment. Next, we will see King Saul, the cost of disobedience. His story is a sobering contrast to the disciples, and it will show you why God is urging you to obey now, before the opportunity passes, before the blessing is lost. Speak aloud. I obey the call of God. I release my old identity and embrace the new life He is creating in me. Now I need you to listen carefully, because obedience is not optional. There is a cost to resisting God's voice, a cost to delaying, a cost to rationalizing and thinking, I'll do it later. King Saul knew this truth, and his story is a warning for every one of us. God gave Saul clear instructions, a task, a mission, a command. But Saul decided to take matters into his own hands. He delayed. He compromised. He chose his own way instead of God's. And here is the truth. Disobedience always costs more than obedience. Saul's failure didn't just affect one day. It affected his kingship. It affected his family. It affected the destiny God had planned for him. He lost favor, lost authority, and lost the blessings that obedience would have secured. Now think about your life. Are there areas where you've delayed obedience? Are there instructions from God you've ignored because they feel uncomfortable? Are there steps of faith you've rationalized away? Are you clinging to comfort instead of following the Spirit? The enemy loves hesitation. The enemy loves compromise. And the voice of condemnation. You've already failed. It's too late when it will try to paralyze you. But hear the Spirit saying, it is never too late to obey. The door is open. Your faith step today can reverse the loss of yesterday. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I reject compromise and delay. I obey the voice of God now, and I walk in favor, blessing, and breakthrough. Say it slowly. Let it break the chains of regret and fear. Let it release the grace that God is pouring over your life right now. And now, imagine the tension in your own life. The moments you've hesitated, the steps you've avoided, the calls you've ignored. Each one is a crossroads. Each one is a choice between disobedience and destiny. Next, we move from theory to practice. The foundation has been laid with Noah, Abraham, Naaman, the disciples, and Saul. Now we will enter the battlefield of your modern life. Fear, finances, relationships, prayer, and forgiveness. You will receive practical weapons to defeat the voice of condemnation and walk in obedience today. Speak aloud. I reject compromise and delay. I obey the voice of God now, and I walk in favor, blessing, and breakthrough. I need you to feel this in your spirit. The fear you carry of what people think, what they will say, how they will judge you. That fear has been silencing your obedience. That fear has been keeping you from stepping into your calling. God is speaking. Fear of man is a prison. Obedience is your key. Think of Peter. After Jesus called him, he faced ridicule, skepticism, and the possibility of failure. Yet he obeyed. He stepped out of the boat. And the moment he obeyed, even on shaky waters, miracles happened. Now listen closely. This is for you. If you are fearful of what others will think when you pray boldly, obey anyway. If you are afraid to forgive someone who has wronged you, obey anyway. If you feel judged for stepping out in faith, obey anyway. Fear of man is subtle. It whispers, they will laugh, they will reject you, they will misunderstand you. But the Holy Spirit says, your obedience honors me more than the approval of others. Your destiny is in my hands, not theirs. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I release the fear of man. I obey God's voice above all voices. My faith is greater than judgment or rejection. Say it slowly. Feel it resonate in your chest. Every heartbeat is a declaration. Fear no longer controls you. Approval from people no longer defines you. The Spirit is your guide, your strength, your validation. Feel it rising in your spirit. Every time you obey in spite of fear, the chains of condemnation and self-doubt break a little more. Your obedience is rewiring your soul to hear God's voice above all else. Next, we will continue with people-pleasing, the subtle enemy that disguises itself as kindness. You will discover how obedience to God's voice, not approval from others, unlocks true freedom and authority in your life. Speak aloud. I release the fear of man. I obey God's voice above all voices. My faith is greater than judgment or rejection. I need you to sense this right now. The subtle pull of people-pleasing. The inner whisper, if I say no, they will be upset. If I speak boldly, they will reject me. If I follow God, I might lose them. This is one of the most dangerous traps in your spiritual life. People-pleasing hides behind kindness, politeness, and the fear of conflict. It whispers lies to your spirit. You must keep everyone happy. Your worth is in their approval. But hear me clearly. God's approval is the only approval that matters. When you obey Him, even at the risk of disappointing others, you are stepping into freedom. You are declaring, I am no longer a slave to human opinion. I serve God alone. Think of the prophets Elijah, Isaiah, Jeremiah. Every step of obedience put them at odds with the crowd. Yet their obedience released divine power, protection, and life-changing messages that shaped generations. Now, apply this to your life today. Are you holding back a truth because you fear others' reactions? Are you compromising your values to fit in? Are you delaying obedience to God because of imagined judgment or criticism? The enemy wants you stuck, anxious, and paralyzed. But the Spirit says obedience silences condemnation. Obedience overpowers fear. Obedience is your weapon. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I release the need for human approval. I obey God's voice fully, and His favor covers me. Say it slowly. Feel it release the pressure, the anxiety, the worry about others' opinions. Every obedient step you take in truth strengthens your spirit and aligns you with God's destiny. Feel it rising in your heart. Every moment you choose obedience over approval, you break a chain that has held you captive for years. Every step you obey is a step closer to the life God has promised you. Next, we will move into obedience in financial stewardship and tithing. How your faith-filled obedience can release abundance, provision, and God's favor in ways you've never imagined. Speak aloud. I release the need for human approval. I obey God's voice fully, and His favor covers me. I need you to feel this in your spirit. The weight of financial worry. The anxiety about bills, debt, and the future. The questions that haunt you. How will I make ends meet? Will I ever be free from lack? Hear this truth. Obedience in your finances unlocks heaven's provision. Think of the widow in 1 Kings 17. She had almost nothing, just a small jar of oil, barely enough for herself and her son. And yet God asked her to obey, give the last of what she had. And obedience released a miracle. The jar never ran dry. Life continued and abundance flowed. Now listen closely. This is for you. Are you holding back your tithe or offering because you fear scarcity? Are you trying to manage life on your own instead of trusting God with your resources? Are you struggling to obey God in small financial steps, thinking they won't make a difference? The enemy whispers, "Keep it for yourself. You cannot afford to give. Wait until you have more." But the Spirit says, faithful obedience in small things releases abundance in large measures. Your obedience is a key to unlock heaven's storehouse. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I obey God in my finances. I give faithfully and I release lack. Abundance flows to me by His grace. Say it slowly. Feel it resonate in your heart. Every act of faith in your finances breaks the chains of fear, opens the doors of blessing, and aligns you with God's supernatural provision. Sense it now. Every time you obey God with your resources, no matter how small, you are planting seeds that will multiply far beyond what you see. Every step of faithful giving is a declaration. God, I trust you with everything. Next, we will explore obedience in prayer and intercession, how speaking God's will aloud with faith can move mountains and shift your circumstances. You will learn practical prophetic ways to wield your prayers as spiritual weapons. Speak aloud. I obey God in my finances. I give faithfully and I release lack. Abundance flows to me by His grace. I need you to feel this now. The quiet moments when you kneel, speak, or lift your hands. The prayers you've whispered in secret. The burdens you've carried alone. Maybe you've felt unheard. Maybe you've wondered if your prayers even matter. Here is the truth. Obedience in prayer is a weapon that moves heaven and earth. Think of Elijah on Mount Carmel. He obeyed God's instructions to confront the prophets of Baal. He prayed, he obeyed, and fire fell from heaven. Obedience released power. Faith unleashed miracles. Now consider your life today. Are there situations you've stopped praying about because it seems impossible? Are you avoiding interceding for others because it feels too heavy? Are you letting fear or doubt silence your prayers? The enemy wants to convince you it's useless. They won't change. God isn't listening. But the Spirit says, faithful obedience in prayer releases miracles, changes hearts, and shifts circumstances. Your obedience activates heaven's power. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I obey God in prayer. I intercede with faith and I release heaven's power over every situation in my life and the lives of others. Say it slowly. Feel it rise in your spirit. Let every word pierce through doubt and fear. Every obedient prayer builds momentum, unlocking doors that no human effort could ever open. Imagine now. The chains around your circumstances begin to break. Mountains of fear, sickness, lack, or injustice start to tremble. Your obedience in prayer releases authority. Your faith becomes a force that heaven responds to immediately. Next, we will see obedience in relational reconciliation and forgiveness. How choosing God's way, even when it's hard, releases freedom, healing, and restoration in your relationships. This will show you how obedience transforms the heart as much as it transforms circumstances. Speak aloud. I obey God in prayer. I intercede with faith and I release heaven's power over every situation in my life and the lives of others. I want you to feel this deeply. The weight you've carried from broken relationships, betrayals, and offenses. The resentment that sits quietly in your heart whispering, I can't forgive. They don't deserve it. I'll never be free. Here is the truth. Obedience and forgiveness releases freedom you cannot earn any other way. Think of Joseph, sold by his brothers, thrown into a pit, betrayed and falsely accused, yet when he rose to power, he obeyed God's voice and forgave. He didn't let bitterness dictate his actions. He chose obedience over revenge, and in that obedience, God's plan was revealed. Not only was Joseph restored, but generations were saved. Now consider your life today. Is there someone you've refused to forgive even though God is calling you to let go? Are you holding grudges that weigh down your spirit and prevent blessings from flowing? Are you choosing pride over obedience, thinking forgiveness is weakness? The enemy will whisper, they hurt you. Don't forgive. Keep score. Protect yourself. But the Spirit says, obedience and forgiveness releases healing, peace, and divine favor. Your faith in reconciliation activates God's blessings. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I obey God in forgiveness. I release all offense, bitterness, and pride, and I walk in freedom, peace, and blessing. Say it slowly. Let it resonate in your spirit. Feel the chains of resentment fall away. Every act of obedient forgiveness opens your life to God's restorative power. Imagine now, the relationships that felt broken begin to shift. The weight on your heart lifts. Your spirit feels lighter, freer, aligned with heaven's design. Obedience and reconciliation not only heals your heart, it transforms your destiny. Next, we will enter segment 12, where obedience in your current trials is revealed as the very foundation for your testimony. The same faith you apply today is the seed for life-changing testimonies that will inspire generations. Speak aloud. I obey God in forgiveness. I release all offense, bitterness, and pride, and I walk in freedom, peace, and blessing. I need you to feel this in your spirit. The trial you are facing right now, the pain, the disappointment, the fear that keeps you awake at night. Maybe it's a broken relationship, a financial struggle, or a health challenge. Maybe it's the inner voice of condemnation whispering, "You'll never overcome this. You're too weak." Hear this truth. Obedience in your trial is the foundation of your testimony. Think of Job. He lost everything: family, wealth, health. Yet he obeyed, he trusted, and he worshipped. Through obedience in suffering, his life became a testimony that echoes through generations. His obedience transformed tragedy into triumph. Now consider your life. Are you tempted to give up, to compromise, to step away from God's instructions because of your circumstances? Are you weary? Feeling your trial is too heavy, too long, too unfair? The enemy wants you to quit, to speak in defeat, to ignore the call of obedience. But the Spirit says, your obedience today is your testimony tomorrow. Every faithful step is a seed of breakthrough, a story of triumph, a legacy of faith. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I obey God in the midst of my trial. I trust Him fully and I release my testimony into His hands. Say it slowly. Feel it rise from your heart. Every act of obedience, even in pain, is a declaration. I will not be defeated. I will honor God with my life. My trial will become my testimony. Imagine now. The challenges you face today are being woven into a story of victory. Your obedience is transforming fear into faith, struggle into strength, and suffering into a powerful declaration of God's faithfulness. Next, we will step into segment 13, where obedience not only transforms your personal life but releases generational blessings. Your faith today can impact your children, your family, and future generations in ways you have yet to see. Speak aloud. I obey God in the midst of my trial. I trust Him fully and I release my testimony into His hands. I need you to feel this now. The generations behind you and the generations ahead. The struggles, the pain, the curses or limitations that have lingered in your family. And now the power of your obedience can change everything. Think of Abraham again. His obedience didn't just affect him, it shaped nations. Every step of faith, every act of obedience unlocked a covenant that blessed generations. One man's obedience released a legacy of life that echoes to this very day. Now, consider your own life. Every faithful step you take, every act of obedience, every prayer spoken in faith, is creating a spiritual inheritance for your children, your family, and those who come after you. Every act of disobedience, hesitation, or compromise can limit that blessing. The enemy wants you to believe your actions only affect you. Your obedience doesn't matter. But the Spirit says, your obedience today releases blessings that ripple through generations. One faithful act can break cycles of poverty, sickness, and defeat. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I obey God fully. My obedience releases blessings, life, and favor into my family and future generations. Say it slowly. Feel it resonate deeply in your heart. Let it awaken a sense of purpose beyond yourself. Every step you obey today strengthens the spiritual legacy that will outlive you. Imagine now, the chains of generational struggle breaking, the prayers of ancestors being honored, the future of your family bathed in God's favor. Obedience is not just personal, it is eternal. Next, we will see the ultimate example, Jesus' obedience in Gethsemane. If Abraham, Noah, and Joseph were examples of obedience, Jesus is the source, the model that empowers you to obey in every circumstance, even when the cost is unimaginable. Speak aloud. I obey God fully. My obedience releases blessings, life, and favor into my family and future generations. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the Garden of Gethsemane, darkness surrounding the olive trees, the weight of the world pressing on one man, Jesus. sweat like drops of blood, heart pounding, soul in anguish. The Father's will lay before him, a path of suffering, rejection, pain, and death. Every instinct screamed, "Take another way. Avoid this," and yet he obeyed every step of the way. Every prayer, every surrender, every act of faith, even in agony, he aligned with the Father's will. Here is the revelation for you. Obedience is never easy, but God provides strength when you follow Jesus' example. Think about your life today. Are there moments when obedience feels impossible? Are there trials that seem unbearable? Are you tempted to take the easier path, to compromise, to delay? The enemy wants you to quit, to justify, to stray from God's instructions. But the Spirit says, your obedience, even in pain, mirrors my Son. I will strengthen you. I will empower you. I will walk with you. Here is your spiritual weapon for this segment. Speak it aloud. I obey God even when it is difficult. I trust His strength to empower me. I walk in the footsteps of Jesus. Say it slowly. Let it resonate in your chest. Feel the courage rising in your spirit. Every obedient choice, even in hardship, aligns you with heaven and strengthens your faith. Imagine now, the burdens you carry becoming lighter as you step forward in obedience. The fear, the doubt, the heaviness dissolving in the power of the Spirit. Jesus' obedience is your model, your source, your guide. Next, we will enter segment 15, where all the lessons, battles, and acts of obedience converge into your ultimate activation and prophetic sealing, your testimony, your blessing, your spiritual ignition. Speak aloud. I obey God even when it is difficult. I trust His strength to empower me. I walk in the footsteps of Jesus. Now listen closely. Everything you've learned, every act of obedience, every step of faith, every trial you've endured, it all leads to this moment. This is your activation, your spiritual ignition. Your testimony is not a distant hope. It is being forged right now in this very moment. I need you to feel this in your spirit. The burdens you've carried, beginning to lift. The chains of fear, shame, and condemnation, breaking. The voice of the Holy Spirit, speaking clearly and powerfully to you. Obedience has been your path. Faith has been your weapon. Every trial has been the crucible shaping your testimony. Here is the revelation. Your obedience today writes the story of victory tomorrow. Now join me in this prophetic declaration. Speak it aloud with me. I walk in obedience. I release my testimony. I embrace God's blessing and favor in my life now. Say it slowly. Feel it ignite your spirit. This is your moment. Heaven is responding to your faith, your surrender, your alignment with God's will. Imagine now the obstacles that seemed impossible, crumbling, the voice of condemnation, silenced, the path ahead, illuminated with divine favor and purpose, and there is more. The greatest revelation is yet to come. The final segments will weave together everything you have learned into a poetic, prophetic, life-changing truth that will seal your obedience and release heaven's power into your life. Next, we will move into segment 16, where we reveal the ultimate revelation of obedience and lead you into a 3 to 5 minute guided activation prayer, the prophetic moment where your testimony is ignited. Speak aloud. I walk in obedience. I release my testimony. I embrace God's blessing and favor in my life now. Close your eyes and feel this in your spirit. The journey you've taken tonight. Every story, every instruction, every act of faith, it all leads to one undeniable truth. Obedience is not about rules. Obedience is the language of intimate trust. Think of Noah, Abraham, Joseph, the disciples, and Jesus in Gethsemane. Each of them obeyed, not out of obligation, not to earn favor, but because obedience is how we speak to God's heart. Hear this clearly. When you obey, you are saying, I know your voice. I trust your heart. I surrender my will to yours, and this obedience transforms everything. It silences condemnation. It unlocks favor, blessing, and provision. It releases generational miracles. It activates testimony, breakthrough, and destiny. Now I want you to join me in a prophetic declaration. Speak it aloud. I trust your voice, Lord. I obey your will, and I align my heart with yours. My obedience releases miracles, blessings, and destiny into my life. Say it slowly. Feel it resonate in your spirit. This is not just a prayer, it is a spiritual key unlocking everything God has prepared for you. Imagine now, Every act of obedience you've done, every step of faith, every trial endured, and every prayer spoken is converging in your life. The Holy Spirit is sealing it. Heaven is responding. Your testimony, your breakthrough, your blessing is now being activated. Next, we move into segment 17, the guided 3 to 5 minute prophetic activation prayer, where all declarations, faith acts, and obedience converge into a spiritual event, your personal ignition moment. Speak aloud. I trust your voice, Lord. I obey your will and I align my heart with yours. My obedience releases miracles, blessings, and destiny into my life. Now, I need you to take a deep breath and feel the Holy Spirit around you. Every lesson, every act of obedience, every declaration you've spoken tonight is converging. This is your moment of spiritual ignition. This is your testimony being activated. I want you to speak each phrase aloud with me. Let your spirit resonate with each word. Let your faith rise like a fire in your soul. Repeat after me. I release all fear, condemnation, and doubt. I obey God fully in every area of my life. I trust His voice above all voices. I follow His will with courage and faith. I forgive, I release, I reconcile. I walk in freedom and peace. I give faithfully, pray boldly, and act in obedience. Heaven's favor flows through me. My obedience unlocks blessings, provision, and miracles for me and my family. I walk in the footsteps of Jesus. I trust His strength to empower me. I declare my testimony today. I release my destiny. I align fully with God's will. Feel the fire rising in your spirit. Every word you speak is a spiritual key unlocking doors, breaking chains, and releasing your testimony into the world. Now take a moment to envision your life. The trials that once burdened you, dissolving. The fear and doubt that held you back, shattered. The blessings, favor, and testimony you have longed for, flowing freely. Heaven is responding. The Holy Spirit is sealing your obedience, your faith, your declarations. Your testimony is alive. Your breakthrough is activated. Your destiny is aligned with God's heart. Final community prophetic act. Type in the comments. I align with the will of the Father. Include your city and country. Let your declaration join a global family of believers. Your obedience strengthens not only your life but the faith of thousands worldwide. If this message has touched you, subscribe, turn on notifications, and continue the journey with us. Watch the next video to deepen your walk with the Holy Spirit and continue building your testimony. Take a deep breath and feel the fire of the Holy Spirit within you. You are free. You are empowered. You are aligned with heaven's plan. Speak aloud the 7 declarations. Type in the comments. I align with the will of the Father. Share your city and country as a part of the global spiritual family. Now that your testimony has been ignited and your obedience has been activated, it's time to step into daily alignment with the Holy Spirit. This is not a one-time experience, it is a lifestyle. Every day God is speaking to you, guiding you, comforting you, and empowering you to live in His flow. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine starting each day fully surrendered. Every thought, every plan, every decision is placed in God's hands. Feel the Spirit surrounding you, guiding your steps. Imagine walking through your day with clarity, peace, and divine favor in every interaction, every challenge, every choice. The enemy will try to whisper, "You are alone. You can't hear him, you will fail." But the Spirit says, "And stay in alignment, and every step you take will carry my power and presence." Practical steps for daily alignment. Begin each morning with surrender. Lord, I hear your voice. I follow your will today. Pause multiple times a day to listen, sense, and obey even small nudges. End the day in gratitude and reflection, aligning your heart with God's guidance. I walk daily in the Spirit. Every step, thought, and decision is aligned with God's will. I release heaven's wisdom, favor, and breakthrough into my life today. Imagine now the weight of fear, doubt, and confusion dissolving. Each day becomes a river of blessings. The Spirit guides you in everything. Your life is flowing in supernatural alignment with heaven. Next, we will see how obedience itself becomes a shield, protecting your breakthrough and sustaining your journey of faith. The enemy is relentless. After your testimony begins to manifest, he will try to reclaim ground. Fear, doubt, condemnation, temptation, they all rise like waves to steal your breakthrough. But here is the truth. Obedience is your spiritual shield. Every step you take in faith, every act of alignment, every declaration of obedience protects you from attack and preserves your victory. Think of Joshua at Jericho. Each faithful march, every obedient step was more than ritual. It was a shield and a weapon. The walls didn't fall by accident. They fell because obedience carried the power of heaven. Recurring sin or temptation, spiritual attack or discouragement, fear of losing progress. Speak aloud with me. I stand in obedience. I resist fear, doubt, and attack. No weapon formed against me prospers. My life is protected by God's Spirit. Imagine now, every attack the enemy hurls at you, bouncing off the shield of obedience. Every fear, every lie, every accusation, losing power over you. Your breakthrough is sealed, guarded by heaven itself. Next, we will step into the prophetic imagination, seeing your life fully aligned with God's plan, a life flowing in miracles, favor, and testimony. Close your eyes and allow the Holy Spirit to guide you into a vision of your future. This is prophetic imagination, seeing the life God has prepared for you through obedience and faith. Picture doors of opportunity opening that you never expected. Visualize your family walking in blessing and favor. See your testimony impacting countless lives. Imagine mountains of fear, lack, and limitation dissolving before you. Every act of obedience, every prayer, every declaration you have made is converging to bring this destiny to life. This is not fantasy. This is God showing you what obedience unlocks. Speak aloud with me. I see my life as God sees it. I walk in obedience and my destiny unfolds with clarity, power, and favor. I step into all that you have prepared for me. Imagine now, your daily decisions, small and large, moving in perfect alignment with heaven's plan. Your life becomes a tapestry of miracles, divine encounters, and supernatural favor. Next, we will focus on training your spirit to recognize God's voice daily, so that every step you take is empowered and guided by the Holy Spirit. Your obedience depends on one key thing: hearing God's voice clearly and responding immediately. The Spirit speaks in whispers, impressions, dreams, convictions, and nudges. If you do not recognize His voice, obedience becomes accidental rather than intentional. Begin practicing daily listening. Journal the impressions you feel, the nudges you sense, and the dreams God gives. Test the voice of the Spirit by obeying even small instructions. Trust that each faithful response strengthens your spiritual sensitivity and unlocks greater breakthrough. Confusion over God's guidance, hesitation to act on spiritual impressions, fear of making mistakes. Speak aloud with me. I hear God's voice clearly. I respond immediately to His guidance. My life flows in divine alignment, and every step I take is empowered by the Holy Spirit. Imagine now, each decision you make guided by God, flowing with wisdom and favor. Obstacles no longer intimidate you. Doors of opportunity open automatically. Every obedient step carries the power and presence of heaven. Next, we will reveal how obedience transforms ordinary life into a supernatural adventure, turning every moment into a sacred encounter with God. Now, imagine your life fully awakened to the Spirit. Every day, every moment, every action becomes a supernatural adventure. Obedience transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Walking to work, cooking meals, speaking to friends, or even making decisions all become sacred acts of obedience. Each step you take flows in divine guidance, favor, and supernatural encounters. Opportunities, miracles, and divine connections begin to multiply in ways that cannot be explained by human logic. Feel the Spirit moving through your life, orchestrating encounters, opening doors, and multiplying resources. Sense His presence in the mundane and the extraordinary. Your daily life is now a living testimony of God's power and favor. Prophetic weapon, declaration. Speak aloud. I live every moment in obedience. My life is an adventure in God's Spirit. Miracles, favor, and divine encounters flow through me daily. Type in the comments, I walk in obedience every day. I embrace my divine adventure. Include your city and country. You are part of a global family, and your declaration strengthens believers worldwide. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and continue this journey with us. Watch the next video to deepen your walk with the Holy Spirit and continue building your testimony. Imagine now, your life fully aligned with heaven. Your obedience becomes a lifestyle, your testimony a living legacy, and your faith a river of blessings flowing to all who encounter you.